What's going on, kids? Good. I hope my video feed holds up today, man. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? So far, video seems to be okay. Video and sound good there. Kicks good. You hear me and see me well? Hopefully it holds up. Okay. Sounds good. You seem like to be the only one here right now. We'll give it about another 2 or 3 minutes and then go over the lines. The lines have changed a little bit, especially in the New York LA game. No, actually the Connecticut Dallas game has dropped from 11 to 7.5. New York game is pretty much the same, still 14 and a half to 14. And Minnesota's still favored by 9.5. So we'll see what happens there. Do have how you doing there, Brian? Thanks, buddy. Yeah, let's do it, man. I mean, I'm actually, to be honest with you guys, I'm really looking forward to the NFL already. But of course, you know, I am gonna do everything I can, every single slate, to give you guys the best possible you know, information, and hopefully that helps, you know, and at the same time hopefully help myself. I've been like up and down a lot with WNBA. I really have had a terrible year, to be totally honest, but I am, you know, I'm going to stick to what I normally do, and this is what I normally do pretty much throughout any fantasy sports I do. I just do a lot of research and then narrow things down according to numbers, matchups, and you know, odds, the whole 9 yards. Family's doing good. Thanks for asking, man. Hope everything is going well for everybody else's family. All right. Give it another moment. It's been here 3.5 minutes. I was actually a few minutes late. What's up, BG? All right, let me just go over the lines, I guess, for the guys, for the ladies and gentlemen that are here. Changes in line. We have Dallas, Connecticut. Originally, as of yesterday or early this morning, it was 176.5 implied totals, and Connecticut was favored by 11. That has definitely been tightened up a little bit, and I believe that's been tightened up because there is the good possibility that Liz Cambage is back and playing today. I don't know how many minutes, but from the line to drop from 11 to 7.5, even though we still have a game time decision, I last heard, you know, from some sort of tweet or something like that, there's a possibility she's going to play. So she is probable of playing, so that definitely changes a number of things. But of course, the line has changed there by 4.5 points. So Connecticut is now favored only by 7.5. The implied totals have increased by 1 to 177.5. In the Chicago game, implied totals were 163 before. Minnesota favored by 10. It's now 163.5. Minnesota's favored by 9.5. And the last game of the night is New York and Los Angeles. You got implied totals of 157 to start the day at 14.5 point favorites for the Spark. That has now gone down to 154.5 with the Spark favorites still by 14. So that one has blowout in the makings. Definitely a concern, guys. Remember, that game is a late game. So if you are going to target that game for anyone, I would probably target obviously some bench players from New York or one of the guards. And when it comes to LA, I mean, you know, you got to be careful with as much as I love Candace Parker and Agumake, and as well as Chelsea Gray there in that matchup today. You know, you got to be aware that that is a late start. We don't know what New York is going to bring to the table as far as a matchup and as far as what players are going to play. So it's a little scary game to really touch on as far as getting players from. But my eyes are all still targeting some of the LA players. Dallas, New York. Dallas and Connecticut. All right. So let me just basically tell you where I'm at right now. After I did a little bit more due diligence in my early morning video, I obviously stated that I was definitely not. I was fading Skylar Diggins-Smith. I still feel that way, especially Cambage is back. I really like Cambage better and pay up for Liz Cambage if I'm going to play her. I am going to play her in one or two lineups. I'm taking a stab and hoping that she is going to play. I think she is. But with Connecticut, the backcourt is just really, really good. The matchup is even good. If Liz Cambage does play minimal minutes, it's even going to be better for them. But Jasmine Thomas and Courtney Williams are both in play. They're both, like I said in my earlier video, they have had great success with Dallas already this year. Okay, in both in Connecticut as well as at Dallas. They both averaging about 63 fantasy points combined. So I mean, you could take your pick. Just like I told you the last time they had this matchup, I had favored Courtney Williams. I still do in the matchup. I think Courtney Williams is the better play. She's a better rebounder, averages about 6 rebounds a game. She also takes about 2 threes a game, so she can definitely hit from the three. She's over 30 somewhat percent there as well. And she actually scores, and she takes about 12 shots per game, 11, 12 shots a game. So she's definitely a very integral part of the offense. And Connecticut is playing so well right now. And not only that, she is a part of that success. So Courtney Williams for me is definitely a nice play here against Dallas for sure out of all the girls up here in the guard position. Other than that, I do like Shakina Strickland like I did the last time. I think she's still in a good position. She's another three-point shooter. Remember, what made me target this game more about the three-point shooting is seeing this 36% shooting percentage for Connecticut and knowing that Dallas is not that good of a three-point shooting team. And then when I went and I checked to see how well Dallas has been defending the three, and then haven't been defending the three that well. They've given up 35% to opponents as far as three-pointers are concerned. So that definitely opens the doors for Courtney Williams, Jasmine Thomas, Shakina Strickland, and I really like Strickland in this spot. And remember, the first time they played each other, Strickland put up 44. She had that career game. So not to say that she's going to do that again. I doubt it very much. But she's in position. If she gets her open space and they definitely open up the floor for her and she gets those opportunities to get some good looks, she can get hot. And she's very streaky. And she could possibly get you 20, 25 here. That would be awesome for 4,200. So Strickland is definitely someone you should definitely consider here in this slate and in this matchup. Miss Clarendon could possibly be someone to consider, but I definitely like Strickland better at $100 more. And when it comes to the forwards in this matchup, Cambage is definitely in play. We all know that. I still like Alyssa Thomas in the matchup, and I still love Jonquel Jones. And, I've been telling you guys for a while now, I just love the fact that she can give you she actually gives you about 1.2 fantasy points per minute. So she utilizes her minutes on the floor very, very well. And this is definitely another good matchup. Now, without Cambage, it's even better for Jones, but I still think she can definitely give you some good production here, in this spot against the Slate with these opponents, with the girls that are here. Glory Johnson, I'm not, I told you guys since Coach Williams was coaching the team, I always kept telling you guys, I'm not on Dallas anymore. I have to give them a shot. And just seeing the way they were being coached, thank goodness this guy is gone, man. I mean, because you guys know, for whoever's been following me, I've been chewing up this coach for his, way of actually coaching his team and actually rotating the players. He's been horrific, and they finally got rid of him. So hopefully that with a new voice in the huddle, maybe these girls will play better. They're really in a desperate situation, Dallas, right now. They need wins, but Jonquel Jones, and as far as the girls for Dallas, I mean, Azurá Stevens is probably the only one I really like. Kayla Thorne gets a lot of minutes, but she has not really been productive as far as offensively and fantasy points-wise as well. So I like Azurá Stevens coming off the bench and getting the necessary minutes, and she has the potential to give you 30, 35 plus. So I think she's a fine play. I'm not anybody else. Play Zans, obviously, if there's a minutes restriction for Cam Page, she could be someone to consider here, but I'm not going to be on her as well, especially if Cam Page is here, and I believe she is. Morgan Tuck could possibly be a flyer. I really think this is the best place here. This is not a bad game to target as a possible game stack. You could probably get 5 quality plays out of here, considering that New York, LA is playing very late at night, and you don't know. Again, don't take those chances with New York as far as filling up your lines with 2 or 3 or 4 players from New York, because you just don't know in New York how well they're going to play. New York does get up for big games, so I would not be surprised. The last time they played LA, they played a heck of a game. But there's a couple girls in question there, a couple girls with game time decisions. We just don't know who's going to play, and we know how they are with their guards either too as well. The guards are always sporadic. You don't know who's going to play the maximum minutes, and at the same time who's going to go off. So it's a really risky play to try to take any New York players, but LA players are definitely in play. When you come to Chicago, Minnesota, I love still the backcourt of Chicago. A lot of people are not going to agree with me. Minnesota has been fantastic defending against guards. I've said that in the previous videos. Over the course of the last 3 games, they've been, locking people down to 29.5 or 29.6. What I got here, 29.6 fantasy, points per game to guards. So they really have been playing very well in the backcourt, and they actually have been suffering up in the front court. So, but again, when you look at this matchup here, Minnesota and Chicago both give up 35 to 34% shooting to the opponent for threes. And if you look at Chicago, Chicago's 3-point shooters are just, they're lights out, man. I mean, Vandersloot gets open, she's going to bury the 3. Quigley gets hot, you can forget about it. She's burying 3s. Then you got the Shields that can hit some 3s. You got Miss Copper that can hit some 3s. You got Dolson up front that can hit 3s. They have about 3 or 4 different weapons here. And I also like about Chicago, if they can give this game, if they can make Minnesota play Chicago's game, pace up the game offensively, and get up and down the court the way they're really, really good at, with Vandersloot, the Shields, Quigley, Gabby Williams. Remember, Gabby Williams and the Shields are going to be playing up front, and they're going to try to pace this game up. If they can do that, Chicago will be in this game. But if they let Minnesota settle in and become a half-court team and really take down this pace and bring it down to their level, and Minnesota gets Chicago to basically just throw up some freaking shots and get those necessary rebounds, they're going to be dangerous to beat. They're going to be hard for Minnesota to lose the game, because they are a fairly good rebounding team, much better rebounding team up front than Chicago. But Chicago is definitely a lot more athletic, and definitely their pace is the right game for them with the athletic players they have. So, I mean, Courtney Vandersloot, Quigley, DeShields, Gabby Williams, Miss Copper, they're all in play for me as far as against Minnesota. The key is who you go with that gives you the best upside. Well, Courtney Vandersloot, 7,800 is the best option, but you also have the Shields and Williams that play up front, so I would say the Shields is the better option. But Gabby is not a bad player, 4,800, that has the potential to get you 30. So you look at value, she can get you 30 plus at 4,800. That's not a bad price. So definitely Gabby Williams would be a nice sneaky play again, like I said the last time they played. And Miss Copper is definitely in play. And when it comes to Minnesota, don't sleep on Augustus. She may have a good game. She's about a 20 to 25 fantasy point girl. She's really not going to get you 30. She doesn't have tremendous upside in that aspect. So I would not put it past her to have a great game here, because again, Chicago definitely suffers in the backcourt as well. They're not the greatest defensively, but she's not she's not a stud guard. Let's put it that way. And Tanisha Wright, she's an older player. She's going to get a lot of minutes, obviously, with Daniel Robinson being out. So Tanisha Wright is definitely in play at a low value of 3,600. She may be kind of chalky, but she's someone that you can consider definitely as a value play in this matchup and in the actual slate itself. And Miss Cooper. When it comes to the forwards, Fouls and Moore are in play, but I'm always going to be in favor of Moore simply because she gets more shots. She takes more shots. She doesn't get into foul trouble as often. Sylvia Fowles could put herself in a position that she could be in foul trouble. It's a little risky with her. She definitely has a lot of upside. She could score. She could put up 50, 55, 60 at times. So she's capable of getting those big games. But again, I'm betting on Chicago, and that's the whole risk. We're all gamblers here when we play DFS. I'm gambling that Maya Moore is going to play better, is going to get more better opportunities. Remember, Moore takes more shots. She also takes out of the bigs, she takes the most shots from 3 and the most effective too. And then again, like I said before, Chicago gives up about 35% 3-point shots to the opposition. So this is a good spot for Maya Moore as well. So I like more better than fouls. And then down in the bottom here, 5,600 is still too cheap for Dawson, even though she hasn't had no good games against Minnesota. She has played well as of late, and I'm going to go with that and say that she's in a good position. Good position here, especially that she opens up. If they open up the floor for her and she's able to get those open looks, at least from the key and as well as from the 3-point spot, she's able, and she's capable of knocking those shots down. On the lower end of the spectrum, I'm not on Zaldozini, even though she is in play because of Rebecca Brunson. She's probably more in play, more so than Larkins and Fag Bentley. But, I've had enough of those girls already as value play. The only one I like here is Elena Coates, and I've told you about Elena Coates the last time they played as well. I like her here. She's in a good spot, 3,500. I'm willing to bank on her. They need some rebounding. They need somebody to go up here and have a little muscle against this team with Moore and especially Sylvia Fowles. I can see where Elena Coates definitely fits in this matchup. They haven't put her in these matchups, but I think she will be definitely in a good spot. She only played 9 minutes the last time. So, I mean, they definitely need her to get out there and play at least 10 to 15 minutes, and she's capable of getting you value. She's capable of getting you 15 and maybe as much as 18. So I like her there. Other than that, that's basically it. And then the New York game, obviously I already told you this is a risky game because of the later time start for this game. So I would definitely want you guys to focus more on the 2 games previous. And if you're all going to bank on this game, maybe just get 1 or 2 studs here and hope that the game New York gives LA a great game and they actually make this game give Candice Dupree as well as Agumake and Ms. Gray an opportunity to play 3 quarters or better. Then you're in a good spot. But if this game gets blown out early, I mean, it's going to be lights out. New York is, LA is not going to put their star players out there like Gray, Agumake, and as well as Candace Parker out there for more than 25, 30 minutes. They're not going to do it. So, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, obviously Parker's in play, guys. Agumake's in play. I will probably play Agumake more simply because of the cheaper price, and the blowout potential here. And then, of course, you have to think with Candace Parker, they could be the possible, she could be highly owned. I don't think she's going to be like 60 or 70% owned in a blowout situation, but she may be 30% or so. So Agumake, I think, will be lower owned in my opinion. So I think she's a better player. And then, of course, like New York here goes Marissa Coleman, ankle out, Achilles with Kia Vaughn. So you basically right away down here in the lower half, you're going to have to think Rebecca Allen and Miss Stokes. Allen and Stokes here are going to get some time today. That's some good value play, and they'll probably play no matter if New York is getting blown out. So that's what I like about this, especially Rebecca Allen. So Rebecca Allen is definitely a great value play, probably one of the best value plays in the front court in the whole entire slate. Because New York is going to definitely put a little time on her. And if this game gets out of hand, you could definitely see some Maria Vadiva as well for LA. I'm not on Lavender and all that. And then like I said, on guard, New York is very, very risky with the guards. I would say, like I've said before, and I've been saying it for the last few New York games, they got to keep playing Kia Nurse. She's a #1 draft pick. You want to see where the girl's at. You want to see what she can do. And this is late in the year. Nothing to play for other than pride. Let this girl play. Let her play 25, 30 minutes a game the rest of the way, and let's see what we got in the makings for next year. That's the way I would look at it as a coach. So hopefully they'll give us some play at 4,400. She has 35, 40-point upside, so I think she's not a bad play at all. And then you got Sims and Carson. One of them could be a little sneaky. Carson is a better 3-point shooter, so you got to consider that, especially against a team like New York that gives up quite a bit of threes as well. Chelsea Gray definitely is hands down the best here. I actually like her as the best in the whole entire slate, but again, this is a risky play with Chelsea Gray. All right, guys. So ladies and gentlemen, keep that in mind. But those are the better plays. The ones that I pointed out are the best possible plays that you should be narrowing down today. So I'm going to look at your guys' questions and see where we at. And if I need to look anything up, I got my stuff out here to look up some statistics real quick. Randy. Thanks a lot, Randy. Yo, I'm surprised everything's working well. I did bring down my resolution, so hopefully that definitely helps. Yeah, Gary Brown. Liz Cambage may be playing tonight. Yes, she may be playing tonight. So definitely she is in play. She definitely is in play, guys. So definitely consider that. And when you look at those Liz, Liz Cambage is, she's putting up 22.8 points per game and taking up 14, almost 15 shots a game. I mean, she's going to be coming out. If she's playing today, she's going to come out blazing. The only problem is that she more than likely is going to be, if everybody's on to her, she's going to be probably pretty highly owned, maybe 40% or better. Carla on Kayla George. Man, I don't know about Kayla George, Carla, to be honest with you. I mean, Kayla George, she's right down here. I mean, she plays 20 minutes. Yeah, is that about right? Yeah, she plays 20 minutes, it says here on my stats. 10. I don't know if she may. Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, she shoots 47% from three, which is pretty darn good. She takes about 3 threes a game, 47%. Could be wrong on those numbers. I think I have that lined up wrong with Kayla George. I know on top everything else is pretty good. Lindsay Whalen, Lindsay Whalen more than likely is going to be playing tonight. I didn't mention Lindsay Whalen, but Lindsay Whalen could be a very sneaky play, guys. If Minnesota decides, hey, you know what, we're going to give her some time to play over these next couple of games because this is her last year and that is it. I mean, little swan song type of thing. She could possibly play 15-20 minutes today. She's been sitting for 3 or 4 games now. So I mean, I don't see no reason why not allow her to play. So yeah, there's a possibility that Lindsay Whalen will play. I just don't like Lindsay Whalen. Obviously that's personal. That's my opinion. I'm looking forward to her retiring and going on and playing, being a college coach. But yeah, that she could be possibly a very sneaky play here. Yeah, and she is retiring at the end of the season, not right now. Thoughts on stacking Falls with more? You can, if you're gonna stick to those first 2 games, like I said, and not utilize anybody from the New York, LA game. You could possibly. I would not have, and I would not say that that's not a bad stack. Obviously, they are in a favorable matchup against Chicago, so I think that Fowles with more will work fine. I'm just always concerned with Sylvia Fowles when they play these teams that are, supposedly not that good, and she gets double team and she gets traps and she just starts falling apart with the ball, man. And then she gets a little physical and then she gets she does the dumb thing and she commits silly fouls. So my only concern with her is she going to stay on the floor and is she not going to turn over the ball, when she has the ball and she's being double teamed. So with Chicago's being so athletic, I'm always concerned about that as far as Chicago. Granted, Minnesota, if everything goes well and they definitely put this game, to that kind of pace, they're going to be fine. And they should win. But I mean, with Chicago, you never know, man. Chicago has those moments, and you guys know that already. You guys been watching the WNBA. Anything can happen any given night with these teams. And Chicago's one of those teams that they get up for certain games, and the coach gets fired up, and she gets these girls to play hard. And so you just never know what kind of Chicago team you're going to get. But if they are running their offense the way they're capable of, and they're able to open up the floor and be able to get in transition and just play that fast-paced game, run and shoot and just getting the ball off, and really what their thing is that they get shots off fast. They got good pure shooters that don't need a whole lot of time, and that's what makes it dangerous. If they're able to hit their shots and get in rhythm, Chicago could be very dangerous for Minnesota today, and also very dangerous for Sylvia Fowles. I love Moore because Moore, again, gets minutes. She puts the ball on the floor. She's got a good field goal percentage. Her field goal percentage is pretty darn good. She could shoot the 3 and has a decent 3-point shooting percentage. And she rebounds and she does a couple other things that definitely brings in the fantasy points. Carla C. I'm so nervous to play Whalen tonight. Yeah, I mean, hey, this is what the game is all about. This is what DFS is all about. It's about whom we target, and when we have those little difficult decisions, those last 2 or 3 that we're not sure of, who we take a stab on and hope that it just falls through, because that's what it's all about. It's all a gamble, and especially in the WNBA. I find it more so in the WNBA. Last season, I had a better season. This season has been really, really rough, and it's been a lot of bad coaching, as well as the rotation of players, and we've had some major injuries that hurt some teams as well, and it's put everything in where you just don't know what's going to happen any given night. So I mean, we're going to take those risks, because as DFS players, we are gamblers. We want to take a shot at it. So I mean, I'm not at all opposed to taking a stab at Lindsay Whalen. Is not a bad idea. It's just that we don't know for sure or for certain that if she's going to play. If you have any word that she is going to start and going to get 15, 20 minutes, then definitely you could lock her in. Rebecca Allen or Stokes? I just finished saying, I know you probably came in just after I spoke about the actual slates themselves and the individual games. I think Rebecca Allen is probably the best value play in the front court in today's slate entirely, and she should get minutes there for New York with the other two girls injured. I mean, Coleman, I think we just saw that Coleman is out. Well, at least Fanduel has it that she's out. Yeah, they got Zoe B out with the hip and Marissa Coleman. Yeah, so I mean with the ankle. So I'm looking at it, yes, Stokes and Rebecca Allen are in play. They're definitely in play. And if I'm gonna go, you could go with either girl. But I think Rebecca Allen has shown that she has the best upside right now. I mean, she's put 2 games, and I think she's put up 1 fantasy point per minute. Here she goes, 25 and 24. Pretty much 25 there, and 19 and 19. So I mean, she's capable. If she's on the floor, she has the potential to give you value and then some. She's at 3,200. You really need 15 or 14 technically, somewhere around there, and she can get you 20 at 3,200, and possibly have the upside. If she plays a little bit more minutes, she could probably get you 20 to 25. So I like Rebecca Allen. The only thing is that if everybody's thinking the same way I'm thinking, she may be pretty chalky as the value play, but that's okay. Again, you can have a couple of chalky players on your lineup. I always want to make sure that you guys understand that. It's just a matter of which other individuals you get on that actual lineup that can get you over the top will be the difference. So I mean, we know that maybe Rebecca Allen and maybe even Stokes may be 30-40% owned today, maybe even more. Well, Kia Vaughn can stay on the bench. Yeah. I think, Zoe B is out. And I think Zoe B would have been a nice play here, but I mean, she is out. Kia Vaughn, I don't know what's up, but her injury is Achilles. Guys, I mean, if she goes off, hey man, God bless her, man. If she plays and she goes off, what the heck? But I see somebody with an injury like that, ankle, knee, hamstrings, Achilles, all these injuries like this, hip, girls don't come back 100% just like that. You need a little bit of time. And Achilles is something you can't play with. If you really feel some pain in your Achilles, you should not even be playing at all. So I'll be wary of that. At least for me, I would rather fade that and not even take a chance. And hey, like I said, if they go off, hey, God bless them. That's fantastic. Good for you. But I'll feel better in the morning, that I did not take a risk on someone that might have a serious injury. All in, Jazz Thomas, Courtney Williams. Yeah, I mean, if you're only going to focus on the 2 first games, they're not a bad tandem, as well as not a bad tandem with Vandersloot and Allie Quigley. These are 2 teams that their backcourt players play a bulk of their time. Now, granted, Courtney Williams is on FanDuel as a guard, but she plays a lot of 3 for Connecticut. Okay, so just remember that. She plays a lot of 3, but she normally plays the 2. So you think that backcourt of Thomas for Connecticut and Dallas and Chicago, those 3 backcourts today are probably some of the top backcourts in this league. Dallas with Gray and Diggins Smith, they play a bulk of the minutes there. Connecticut, Thomas and Williams, and Chicago, Vandersloot and Quigley. And man, I tell you, any given day, I would take the Connecticut girls, or I would take the Chicago girls. Chicago, tough matchup with Minnesota in Minnesota, but I mean, they play a lot better, obviously, at home. We know that. But Quigley and Vandersloot are in play, as well as those girls from Connecticut. Absolutely. The two girls from Connecticut, if you didn't hear me earlier, they have averaged 63 fantasy points per game in the two games they have played against this team. So, I mean, they're both in a good position. Thomas 33 and C. Will at 30 per game on average in the two games that they have played as far as fantasy points. So, you know, you can count on them for 25, 30, probably between the both of them, and one of them can go off more than the other. So I'm always, my advice and my opinion is just take one. You know, it's tough to stack them both because you're gonna have to find value other places. But again, we just mentioned Stokes and Allen, so you can always get value in the front court if you want, and you could take one value play in the guard spot with those two girls, like maybe a Copper, you know, and you should be okay with a lineup like that. At least starting off with one or two value plays at the front court and getting one value play in the back court if you're gonna go with Williams and Jasmine Thomas. Randy's thinking of stacking Augustus with Wright. That's not a bad idea against New York guards. New York guards give up quite a bit of field goal percentage to the opponent, and they have given at least 34% to three-point shooters. And Augustus is not a big three-point shooter, but both Augustus and Wright could at least hit the three-pointer. So I'm gonna check right here for you real quickly. Three-point percentage. And here you go. Here goes your three-point percentage shooters for tonight. And we look at those girls. Tanisha Wright is up here 41.5%, but she only takes about a 1-3 or as much as 1-3 a game. So not really a whole lot of threes there. And then Augustus, man, she doesn't shoot a lot of threes, I know that much, but she takes 2 threes a game, and she's only at 33%, so she's not a great three-point shooter. But again, anything can happen. They definitely both can score a little bit. I mean, Augustus comes in averaging 10 points a game and taking 10 shots, and Tanisha Wright has been starting as of late because of the injury to Danielle Robinson, so she's averaging 4 points, but you know that's a minimal amount of time she's only played, and she's averaging 17 minutes. Kicks good, you asked me. Yes, well, again, going back to Randy, yeah, if you're going to go with one of those two Minnesota guards, I would think maybe Augustus. Absolutely. She gets more minutes, and she takes more shots. She is a little bit more costlier, but it's quite all right. She definitely gives you the better upside, at least, you know. Kicks good, asks Tanisha Wright or Strickland. I do like Strickland a lot today. I really do. But there's nothing wrong with Tanisha Wright. She's going to get minutes. It's just a matter of how well she utilizes those minutes, you know. And she's not going to, you know, she's not going to light up the scoreboard. What she brings is that you can get her for cheap, you know. Is she going to get you value? She has the potential to get you value. She can get you 15 to 16. But you see, yeah, she put up 39 here against Las Vegas. I don't know if she's going to repeat that, but she's capable, as we know, with minutes, that she could possibly go off and get you 30 or better. So, yeah, so if you're looking for tremendous upside, Miss Wright. If you're looking for someone that could probably give you a solid maybe 20 fantasy points for certain, then I would say Strickland. Brian James, you asking if Kia Stokes is playing? Stokes, yeah, I would think she is. I haven't heard anything about her not playing. Yeah, Stokes and Allen should be playing. I mean, those, like I said, those two girls are gonna probably be fairly high owned if anybody's gonna target any of those girls in that late game. Like I said, it's gonna be tough to target the New York LA game because it's got a 14-point underdog, New York, going into LA. The last time LA played them, they only won by 1, and you know they're gonna want to come and spank these guys early. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if New York keeps the game close, and I would not be surprised if LA blows them out by the half or by the middle of the third quarter. So that's the scary part. You're playing Russian roulette. Any thoughts on Bria Hartley? I have no thoughts on Bria Hartley. New York girls, I just don't know. I say when it comes to the New York girls, I think Bria Hartley, you know, Bria Hartley's not a bad ball player. She's just up and down a lot. She doesn't play sufficient minutes when they need to have her play sufficient minutes. She's not playing them. Not only that, she's turnover prone. She averages about 2 turnovers a game. She's one of like 3 players on this team that coughs up the ball quite a bit. I would probably take my risk and pay up for Brittany Boyd if you wanted to play that. But again, the New York guards, you just don't know who's gonna go off. You don't know if it's going to be Sugar Rogers. You don't know if it's going to be Hartley. You don't know if the next game is Boyd. You don't know if it's going to be Nurse coming off the bench. So I don't know, man. I kind of like Kia Nurse here simply for the 4,400, knowing that she is a #1 draft pick and she deserves to play minutes, especially in a losing season. It just makes sense to me as a coach that let this girl play 25, 30 minutes and let's see what she has. So I think at 4,400, if you want to target anybody, target Kia Nurse. And not only that, she has better upside than Hartley. She's put up 40 and I think almost 50 at least once or twice this year. You know, if you're targeting this game here, another good play would be Beard at 4,200. If you wanted to save from Nurse, you can go Elena Beard. Elena Beard is a good defender. We've discussed that here several times. I like her because she can defend. She's going to go out there. She's going to get rebounds. She's going to get assists. And she's going to steal some balls. She's not going to put up, she's not going to light up the scoreboard offensively, but she'll do all those other little dirty things that get everything going in the right direction for LA. And she's one of the reasons why LA's defense in the backcourt has been stifling guards. So New York is going to be smothered by this girl. As long as she don't get into any problems, she'll be fine. And then, of course, you have Miss Williams here as well. She could be someone to consider. James Perkins on Taylor Hill. Taylor Hill is starting? Oh man, I hope not. I just seen that day. I'm not on Taylor Hill even if she's starting, but Taylor Hill, if she's starting, hey, you know, that's definitely something else there. I really don't know why. Does Elena Beard play in blowouts? I would think that if anything, there's a possibility that if the game is close, she'll play more maximum minutes. And obviously, if it's a blowout, I think she'll be one of the ones that will sit a little bit and they'll give more time to Odyssey Sims and Essence Carsons if they get really out of hand. So it is a concern. I believe that she is probably not going to play maximum minutes if it's a blowout. Morgan Tuck. I'm not on Morgan Tuck, James, today, but Morgan Tuck at 4,300, a game against Dallas. You know, anything can happen, man. I really, you know, when it comes to this Dallas-Connecticut game, like I said earlier, I like Alyssa Thomas. I like Courtney Williams and Jasmine Thomas the best. You know, and I love Janquel Jones. I think those are the 4 girls I love the best out of this matchup for Connecticut. Morgan Tuck has a low value at 4,300. She's like, you know, bottom tier. I'll say if you're looking for someone in that range, she may be a good play because I don't think if Cambage plays, I don't think Plaisance is going to play as many minutes. So, yeah, it's a tough go, man. I mean, man, like I said, Rebecca Allen and Stokes really stand out for me at that 32 and 3,400. I think those girls should get at least 20 minutes or better, and I think both of them combined might get 20 minutes apiece or more. And I think that's not a bad play because I think one of them can get you more than 15 and get you value and actually give you maybe 4x. I really do. But Morgan Tuck, I mean, yeah, I guess you could take a stab at Morgan Tuck. The Shields. Oh, hold on. Let me get I want to make sure. All right, Kia Nurse. Good job, kids. Good. Yeah, I have Nurse in 1 or 2 of my lineups. I like Kia. I take a stab at her all the time. I haven't been hitting well with her, but she'll come through at some point. Maybe she'll come through for us tonight. Azare or Jonquel. Oh, man. That's a tough one, but definitely Jonquel for me. You know, Jonquel Jones is, Azare Stevens is really close to 1 fantasy point per minute, but Jonquel Jones has been averaging more like 1.2 fantasy points per minute for like 9-10 games straight, and she's been pretty good almost the entire year at least 1 fantasy point, but lately she's been at about 1.2, so I definitely like those numbers even though she's playing minimal minutes. Perkins DeShields. Yeah, like I said before, the last time they play, I like it if they can keep the pace up, James, man. I think the Shields can have a nice game, but this is the chance we got to take. We don't know if Minnesota is going to get these girls to play a half-court kind of game, slow up the pace, or Chicago. Chicago could get out and run and get those open shots and really in transition, just get a shot off and then come back on defense and get ready to do it again. They pace this game up, and everything is flowing beautifully for them. They're going to do fine in this game against Minnesota, but that's going to definitely include Gabby Williams, the Shields, and the 2 girls in the backcourt in Quigley and Vandersloot. Those girls are so athletic. If those 4 girls could stay on the floor and really, really get this going offensively, they could be very dangerous tonight. You know, I've said this before, and it's happened before. And then, of course, there've been those times that they've been neutralized. So Minnesota can neutralize them. They just need to slow down the pace of the game, get into a half-court game, and make sure that they work the ball inside and kill some time off that clock and use Miss Sylvia fouls. And hopefully, if she doesn't get trapped, if she doesn't get double teamed, and she doesn't commit fouls as well as turnovers, Minnesota will be in the game. But if that's the if factor there. Hill is starting. Okay, you're talking about Taylor Hill. Yeah, I mean, if Taylor Hill is starting, that's fantastic. I don't know if that's gonna make a big difference. I guess she's starting for Gray because she's not starting for Diggin Smith, unless she's starting unless they're going small against Connecticut and being more athletic. That's the only way I can think of. Yeah, you get me. Yeah, I only got another minute, guys. Get me. Yeah, Cam Page should be playing, man. I heard that she was very probable for today. So I mean, I think she's in play. I actually put her in a couple of my lineups in uh in DraftKings, to be honest with you. Today. Just to take a stab at her, but I mean, I think she's playing, and she's had enough rest, to be honest with you. 4 full days off, didn't play 2 games. I think she's ready to go. And like I said, if she is playing and people really know about this, she's probably going to be over 50% owned. And I got a feeling she's going to do everything she can to ball out today. So you could possibly get a nice massive game from her, probably. So definitely she is in play. All right, guys, man. Well, it's 6:45, 6:46 pretty much right now. Uh, I hope everybody has a heck of a night. I hope everybody makes some serious money, as well as myself. Not a whole lot of money can be made on Fanduel or even on DraftKings as well. Seeing with WNBA, these contests are really, really small and not a whole lot of money, but it's still something. So good luck to all of you guys. I appreciate you guys coming out like always, man. I really, truly do appreciate it. And again, tomorrow there'll be another slate and there'll be another video and then, of course, another live show. So let's go out and let's make these changes on our lineups. Let's get them in and let's go and make some cash. All right, guys? So I wish all of you a heck of a lot of luck and a wonderful night. I'll see you guys tomorrow.